What is going on, everybody? Thanks for coming on in tonight. We've had a celebrity uh, chose to grace our presence tonight. One Cash is King Trucking. If you don't know him, go check out his channel. Uh, Go ahead and drop a link if you want. There, Cash. If I was any kind of a host at all, I've done that for you. But you know how that is, right?
Yeah, it's cool. I'll get one going here in a second. Let me get this other phone running. There we go. Just got a notification over here. That notification went out. Got it. Got it.
All right, all right. Got to
Looks
start the other.
looks like a luxury house you got going on there. I didn't know you had a grand piano.
Yeah, I tickle the ivories now and then. I've been known to. It's just what
Okay.
I do in my spare time. But
Right.
we was just talking today about freight still being good and booking these loads for what we're booking it for and what we're seeing everybody doing. It just kind of popped in my head. It's like, are people kind of forgetting about cost per mile or controlling expenses? And then we're like, hey, that's a great topic for a live stream, isn't it? So
It is.
kind of what we want to talk about tonight. I hate to see people, in a time like this, lose perspective of still running a good business, because let's be honest, there's a lot of margin for error, I guess you could say, and even just being a little bit frivolous, which, hey, we're all guilty of from time to time. It's nice to have new shiny things. Oh, thank you, Lolly Sanders, $5 super sticker. Appreciate that. What do you think about that? Is that now the time to throw caution to the wind and just go out there and get it done, or is it still a good idea to run a good tight business?
Woo wee. Let's talk prepare now, Always be prepared. Um, you know. Now, you know, it's such a great freight market, and especially with all the exemptions and stuff going on right now, it is a little bit more of go get it done for me
Hmm.
than it is to really pinch the pennies. But you can't go wrong with a good efficient operation.
Yeah, I mean, why not pinch a few pennies, while you're out there putting in the extra effort and just, make the most of it. We were kind of talking earlier about, you know, uh, you know, something about reefer fuel, you know, getting a discount on reefer fuel or something, and kind of put the thought out there, over the course of several years, that's a fully funded retirement account. The money you
Hmm.
can save on different things.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of taking care of those opportunities. And oh, Fate Trucking with $25 super chat. I appreciate that, brother.
Ooh,
He
freight
wants to
trucking in
know
the house.
how you get brokers to quickly solve an issue. I have a massive temp issue, told to run at -10, but the product is at 54 degrees. Uh, yeah, I'd suggest you don't move that truck till they get back to you. And
Yeah.
would ideally would writing in an email or something that it's okay for you to go with that load.
Yep.
Write that temperature on the bill of lading, that you
Uh
pulped it
huh.
at that temperature, and I wouldn't leave the parking lot. If you already signed the
Yep.
bills, still don't leave. Don't seal that load till you
Yep.
get some further instructions from that broker, because you don't want to be responsible for that one. But anyway, uh, where do we want to start? Let's talk a little bit about controlling costs or reducing costs and getting your cost of operation down. It's we're booking this $3, $4, $5 a mile freight, uh, which is great. It's awesome. But what if your cost of operation was only 80 cents a mile instead of $1.20 or $1.30? We telling it anybody telling me they can't use an extra 50 cents a mile, that we should just disregard that because we're getting more per mile. I don't necessarily think so. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, hey, profit is profit. Whether like the more the merrier. So if you're getting a good rate and you got good, a low cost of operation, it's the way to be. That's what we're shooting for here. Big profit. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm all about it.
And maybe it's time to hone your skills, while we got this going on. So you got, some time to try some different things out. And cost of operation oftentimes can involve spending a little bit of money to get your cost down. Maybe it's time to add some of the gizmos or gadgets that you've been thinking about uh while that money is there. That way, you're hit the ground running super efficient. If things turn around, such as you've been thinking about getting that set of trailer skirts for your trailer. Maybe
Hmm.
now is the time, especially with fuel as steep as it is. Uh, the payback on that's going to be quite a bit faster.
Right. Yeah, and you know, I've been looking into a few fuel saving, um, you know, apparatuses to attach to the truck. Some wheel covers, some air tabs. Um, you know,
Hmm.
I figure why not? Now's a good time. It's like especially as fuel prices go up. If you can kind of keep that curve from spiking on you, as these fuel costs go up. If you can keep your fuel mileage up, it's gonna help.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, what are some things over the course of the years or just recently you might have already done to get your cost of operation down, or what are some of the bigger things that you do or plans that you have?
Fuel economy is huge. That's the big one. Get that high and tight. Get that truck rolling down the road at a cheaper cost. It's the
Hmm.
big thing.
Oh, thank you for a super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I just
Um,
want to remind everybody to tip the host. Come on, let's get come on, you scallywags.
so okay, well, let's back up a ways then to the beginning of where you start. Uh, Probably the biggest decision you're going to make in cost per mile is the truck itself, the truck you're
Right,
going to buy. And
right.
you know, to that effect, there's fuel mileage is probably the biggest, right? We all agree with
Yep.
that. You had a video where you broke down the difference in cost, what, between 5 and 7 miles per gallon over the course of a year,
Right. It's a
and
little
and
over
where did
20 grand at at these fuel prices, kind of in the $3 ballpark. I think I did it on 120,000 miles. So it's very achievable to save that 20 grand. And a lot of that comes with when you buy the truck. You got to uh you got to have that in mind when you go truck shopping, you know.
right?
Um Realistically, what kind of fuel mileage is that truck going to get?
So over the course of 5 years, you're talking about $100,000 difference. If you're
Mhm.
if you're changing out trucks every 7 years, or whatever, eventually it's the cost of a new truck. So after
Yep.
7, 8 years, 9 years, it's a new truck every so many years, or a
Yep.
paid for house every 6 or 7 years. Uh, your kid's
Yeah.
college fund, for 5 kids. A fully funded retirement, probably a very early retirement at that. So that's probably the biggest uh, thing to look at. But also, when buying a truck, we want to look at uh, a lot of people get caught up in how much down and how much per month, or how much per week, I guess, for that matter. And I guess for a lot of us, that's all we can do. But if you have the means, how about maybe looking at the total cost of ownership for that truck? And by that, we mean what? Interest rate, the cost of the truck. That seems to kind of get lost in the whole payment thing. You know,
Right.
if you take the total amount of the payments on truck A and the total amount of the payments on truck B, and you're looking at a $30,000 to $50,000 difference, that's a pretty big chunk out of your cost of per mile cost of operation. And then in total
Right.
cost of ownership, we got to put compare warranties, insurance. If you got a $25,000 paint job and you hit a deer, that's insurance company's not going to like that. Or if you got to pay for that, fancier paint job. If you got a $15,000 light package on there, then you hit a deer or somebody hits you. I mean, all of this is going into cost of operation. So,
Right.
a lot of things like that too. What are some other things along those lines you can think of?
Yeah, I mean, the maintenance cost, repair costs, things like that, it's
Dealer net
it's
like dealer network, like service availability, parts
yeah.
availability, and cost
Yeah,
is common parts.
yeah, I mean that's becoming a problem these days, getting parts. You see people talking about waiting a week on a part, or
Yeah,
they're a week out on getting common stuff too. It ain't like we're looking for some specific dealer only part for a one-off truck. We're talking about you know freaking rebuild kits for Cummings, and
yeah,
like some pretty common stuff out there. Um, but yeah, the fuel efficient operation is the big one for me, because in that video I talked about, if you save 21,000, 25,000, whatever it is a year, if you do that for 10 years, that's $250,000 without interest.
hmm
That's just $250,000 over 10 years.
yeah.
um yeah, I mean, let's face it, that's a new truck every 5-6 years. I mean,
It's a lot
I
of
don't know.
things.
Like,
It's a lot of things. It's the difference between you having a retirement in style or eating dirt sandwiches in the Dominican Republic. You know, it's it's really
right.
setting up your whole life, or it's the opportunity to. Um, so
Yep.
let's not lose sight of that just because things are great right now. It's an even bigger opportunity. The gap between $5 a mile and your cost at $1.30, or $5 a mile and your cost at 80 cents. Hey, I don't know. That's like a whole nother set of wages. It's like the
Yeah.
wages of two people.
I I was talking to a new owner operator the other day, and I was trying to explain to him that being an owner operator has not always been this easy. There
hmm
hasn't always been $2 of profit. Not even trying.
No,
Like, not like,
no.
you know what I mean? Like, they're getting by now with not shopping around for fuel. Who gives two F's about IFTA? I mean, they're just picking freight up and delivering freight. Uh, you know, $90,000 for a truck that was 50,000 last year. Who cares? We're moving freight. That's all that matters. Um, and if you got to do what you got to do, I get it. But uh, I think if you do buy that $90,000 truck, it's even more important
hmm
to shop for your fuel properly.
Yeah,
Um, you know, check out Mud Flap. Just saying, great network.
yeah. It is. It is.
uh, but I mean, it really is. Like, I've got an EFS card, and I've got Mud Flap, and they are toe to toe. I mean, it really is. You take the fees out of it, but stuff like that, it's like making sure you're doing the IFTA correctly. Even to this day, with your video about IFTA and my video about IFTA, I mean, I'm not trying to be, you know, uh, braggadocious here, but how could you not understand IFTA at this point
Yeah,
if you've got, go look at your IFTA video,
yeah.
and I mean, there's
Every
some
little
ways
bit
to
makes.
carve out.
Yeah, every little bit makes a difference. But
Hmm.
going back to the comment you made on parts, I've been having to buy a lot of parts lately. 6 trailers and several trucks. Um, Parts are getting hard. I'm a little worried, actually. Yeah, Sterling here has a comment here. He's having a trouble getting minor repairs done. Small things like airbags. I had to drive all over the state to get a full set of airbags for a trailer. I needed 4. I found one over there, a couple over here, and another one over there. I put on a couple 100 miles to get a set of 4 airbags. It's
Wow.
getting to the point where I'm worried about somebody's going to break down on the road, truck or trailer, and they're going to be like, "Oh, I don't have the parts. Nobody has them." So what are you supposed to
Right.
do? Sit there for 6 months? Well, somebody gets the parts. I mean, if you're one truck,
Right.
if you're one truck with your own authority, what in the hell are you supposed to do? You know,
Yep.
uh, we're not there yet, but it wouldn't shock me. It really wouldn't, because I go to the trailer dealer, the utility dealer, and I was talking to him. I'm like, I needed some wheel seals too, so I'm like, give me a couple pairs, the 2 different sizes, and set me up. What else did I get? Some stems for the tire pressure systems, stators. And I said, just give me a couple of them. He's like, yeah, that's pretty smart actually, because we can't get this stuff. He's like, we are so. He wanted to know where I got those other 3 airbags, because they wanted to go get some for themselves. They can't get parts. He's like, we've had
Wow.
stuff on order for 6 months. They can't even tell us when it's going to get here. I was at the Goodyear dealer getting plug put in a tire, or a patch put on a tire, and he's like, we've had tires on order for 6 months, and we don't have any idea when they're coming. So are tires next? I hear there's a battery shortage on LEDs, shortage
I,
on all
I
kinds of
seen a
stuff.
thing on I seen a thing on CNBC the other day about rubber shortage coming soon.
Hmm.
Coming to a truck stop near you. I was at Speedco getting oil change yesterday. Tire rack was just bare.
Yeah.
There was a few ragged used ones they had there, Um, and going back to the new owner operators, just running freight, like not narrowing it down. You know, I'm kind of that type of person. I'll get into something a little bit before I do all my research.
Hmm.
But once you're in it, you know, then it's time to start refining, you know. Um,
Yeah.
but I was trying to explain to him. I was like, this $2 profit is pretty unheard of. And you know what I'm saying? Like they're averaging. They got like a dollar 20, $1.30 cost average.
Yeah.
And still getting like $1.75, $2 profit on all miles. And I'm like, trust me, there's a time like last year when if you was making 50 cents profit per mile, you was
Hmm.
doing pretty good.
Well, I mean,
If you were just getting that. So
last year a lot of freight didn't pay $1.30 a mile. So your cost
hmm
is $1.30. You going to stay out there and work for free? If you had some
yeah,
contract freight, you're doing a little better. But if you had to pull broker freight for backhauls, hey, how long are you going to do that? If you got your cost down to 70, 80 cents a mile, and it can be done. You can get your cost down in the 60 cents, range per mile if you work damn hard at it. I ain't saying it's easy, but you can do it. And then freight drops to $1.30 a mile. Everybody's, don't pull cheap freight. Hey, what if? How long before they come and take that truck when you're $2,500 payment? You gotta do something. You could survive. Sometimes it's a matter of surviving a couple months until things turn around. You know, a lot of people didn't survive the pandemic last year. It was too much. It was hard on me. We made it through, but it was tough.
right, right. And a lot of people, that say don't pull cheap freight. That's one of those pet peeves of mine. I'm like, I don't know. Put a number with it when you say that. Instead of cheap, say don't pull freight under X amount, because if the load is right, and I can get my fuel bought right. You know, I got a daily fixed cost I need to make,
Hmm.
and for every day I don't haul something, that compounds. So it's like I'm gonna move something.
Yeah.
If I can haul it at a somewhat profit, I'm gonna move something.
Well,
I'm that guy. So
we've had this
everybody that's got
conversation.
that $2 cost per mile.
Well, we've had this conversation a lot lately too. That a lot of people that haven't been in this more than a few months think that $2 a mile is cheap freight. Well, let me tell you what.
Right.
You know, you're up in what, the Buffalo area right now, and you just got a backhaul
Mm-hmm.
for what, 320 a mile. Let me tell you what,
Yeah.
that that Buffalo, Syracuse, Northern New York area, that's dollar and a
Yeah.
quarter mile territory. You know, in
Mm-hmm.
in past times. Will we ever go back to that? I hope not.
Yeah.
But put it in perspective. Like $2 a mile is not cheap freight. Is it what you want to get all the time? No. But hey, you know, uh, don't be short sighted about it. Certain areas, you know, if you could get $2 a mile year round out of Florida, you know, Florida sucks right now. Florida's the produce
Oh yeah.
season's over. It's awful.
I was looking at Florida rates earlier. Uh, Actually, intrastate Florida is better than anything right now. Doing
Hmm.
like 40, 50. They're not long loads; they're 250 miles. But honestly, that's better than trying to get out of the state here lately. Um,
Yeah. Holy City Freight says, how much is cheap freight? Well, that's going to be different for everybody. That's why you got to know your cost per mile. If my cost per mile is 60 cents a mile, uh, is a dollar and a quarter cheap freight to me? Yeah, I mean, in my head it is. Obviously, I don't want to pull that, but you know, mathematically, I'm still clearing 65 cents a mile. So, you know, but if your cost per mile is a dollar five and the freight is a dollar quarter, well, yeah, you're clearing 20 cents a mile. It might be cheap freight to you. It is cheap freight to me too. I don't want to pull that, but you know, cheap freight is relative. You ask somebody what cheap freight is, they can't even tell you. You know, so I don't pull anything less than $2 a mile. Well, you better never take a load about to probably maybe 25 different states. Uh, hey, can you take this a minute? I got a driver here. I have to call quick with a problem.
yeah, yeah, I can take
Okay,
this.
I'll
I'll
be
run
right
through
back.
some comments.
Okay.
All right. Fleet ownership. There you go. Fleet ownership. Got to take them calls sometimes. Great freight. Sage in the house. What's up, brother? Thanks for stopping by. Everybody hit that like button, by the way. Let's run these numbers up for DIY here. Anybody good at reading lips? Let's see what he's saying there. I got a piece of crust on my phone there. Let me get that off. Anybody reading lips there? Let me know what he's saying. Great Freak Sage hit that like button. That's the way you do it. MV in the house. Where is his hand exactly? Don't ask those questions. We thought about that thumbnail and then I made it, and I was questioning that myself. Lolly Sanders, this is going to be epic. You better believe it. Freight trucking. What's up, guys? Not much. Hope things are going well. Holy City Freight in the house. What's up, David Torres? What's up, guys? Great Freight Sage. Let's see. All you at your Aspen home. Yeah, DIY's at his vacation home. Fleet owners got it like that. They kick back with their feet up and at their vacation house. Cattle hauling with Lone Star. What's up, brother? Everybody go check out Cattle hauling with Lone Star. Good channel there. Check out Great Freight Sage Logic as well. Didn't mean to miss you guys there. Shoestring Trucker in the house. Look, y'all, it's Batman and Robin. I'm gonna put that on my list for next time me and him do a live. Batman and Robin would be a great thumbnail. Lolly Sanders, appreciate the money. Of course, it's not going to me, so I don't know. Freight trucking in the house, appreciate the money. When you kick in money like that, it kicks the YouTube algorithm in.
All right.
So
I'm back.
don't be afraid to super chat. Sorry,
No,
I was hard selling over here.
you carry on. Do some more of that. Where do we leave
We
off?
were talking about passing the plate around.
Okay. All right. I like that idea.
Well, since you jumped back in, I see this scrolling across the bottom, fuelox.com.
Oh yeah.
I got a little testimonial I'd like to run on this real quick while we're selling.
Bring it.
Commercial, I got a commercial here. You wanna chop this up later? I got it for you. I use Fuelox. Been putting it in my trailer. Okay, we was talking about saving money on your trailer fuel. Don't forget that trailer takes diesel as well. And when I buy a lot of reefer fuel, because I come over to the East Coast a lot. So I'm buying a lot of reefer fuel in like Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio.
A
Maybe
lot of
not so much
biofuel.
Ohio, but Indiana. Yes, Indiana, Illinois, a lot of biofuel.
Hmm.
I recommend throwing a little fuel ox in there. That reefer, I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe it's like in my head. It sounds like it runs better here lately.
Yeah.
I've been dosing it up every time I buy fuel for it. I dose it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. You know, people get tired of hearing. But I will also say, I started using their oil additive, the Infinity Lube. I tried it in the reefers first.
Oh yeah.
They're quieter. Even my drivers noticed
Yep.
it. They're like, "What'd you do to this?" I'm like, "Well, put some of that Infinity Lube in there." And then I got one guy using it in his oil now and differentials, and he's loving it. He swears by it. His fuel economy definitely went up, and he can document
Okay.
it. And maybe we'll talk more about that another time. Hey, that brings your cost per mile down
Yeah, I
too.
got to talk to him about that.
Yeah, yeah,
I got to
definitely.
talk to him about that because, I switched over to that Love's semi-synthetic, that 1030.
Hmm.
It's holding up well. I'll say. I mean, I haven't had it. I haven't had it tested yet. I ain't sent any of it off to the lab. I'll get that on the next one. 20 to 25,000. I'll send it in to the lab, and we're gonna get the numbers off of that Love's and see how it compares to this other stuff. But I've been thinking about that Infinity Lube.
Try it.
It's got
Try
me
it.
thinking. It's got me thinking.
I'm not. I've never really been big on oil additives. I've always been of the opinion, use a good quality oil, let it do its job. I don't like the things you put
Right.
in there that make it thicker. You want thicker, run heavier oil. Um, this is kind of turning out to be a little bit different. I understand the science behind it very well. I talked to the inventor of it. Freaking guy is great. I gotta get him on or something. Brilliant. But yeah, liking it. Give it a try. Yeah, definitely talk to that. You got his number. But um, Lance Calhoun wants to know. So, what is average cost per mile right now to run the truck, not counting paying yourself? Well, that's what we're saying, Lance. It is very different for each person, each operation. Obviously, there's certain things you can't control. If you have a reefer operation, you're going to get better fuel economy than hauling oversized open deck where you have the worst
Yeah.
aerodynamics in the world. Okay. But what we're saying is, operation being what it is, work on it. Learn about low
Yep.
rolling resistance tires. When it comes time to buy, okay, here's something for you at 57 miles an hour. Under 57, 55, it's debatable the exact mileage. Under 57, the number one factor in fuel economy is rolling resistance. Okay. Over
Mm.
57, it becomes aerodynamics. All else being equal, with truck to truck, Cascadia to Cascadia, blah, blah, blah. We're talking about the major factors here. Those become the number one and number two factors. And then at 57, they swap. One becomes number two, the other becomes number one. So rolling resistance and aerodynamics right off the bat is the number one and number two,
Yep.
regardless of everything else being equal. So learn about rolling resistance tires. Now, just because something says efficient energy or fuel efficient tire does not mean they're equal. There is a big difference between the Goodyear low rolling resistance tire and the Michelin low rolling resistance tire. A substantial difference. It just every brand has to have their own low rolling resistance tire, mostly because of CARB in California. They have to have a tire that's approved for California. That's kind of what started all that. But I mean, you got to look at the numbers. You can find those calculators online. You can, between picking a crappy open shoulder. Oh, geez, I shouldn't have said crappy because now I'm going to throw a name out there and get jumped on. I would say between picking a very meaty open shoulder BF Goodrich and picking a low rolling resistance Michelin, all the way around truck and trailer, you might be talking about $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a year in fuel. That's a lot of money. So educate yourself about that. You got to factor into cost of the tires, but most of the time efficiency wins. And then aerodynamics. There's a lot you can do with aerodynamics, even if you got a non-aerodynamic truck. Slowing down takes the emphasis off aerodynamics. That's free. You got trailer skirts,
Right.
air tabs. If you got gizmos and gadgets all over the place, getting rid of some of them. I know you got one of the most aerodynamic trucks on the road, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing
Did,
pretty good.
you know that putting a bug
No
screen,
complaints.
a bug shield at the end of the hood will screw it up about 2 to 3 tenths of a mile per gallon? I mean, them bug shields they don't come cheap. You buy a lot of windshields for.
Yeah. With the you can buy a lot of windshield wiper fluid and good wipers.
Yeah.
Instead of doing that, I put one of those on my T600. It really didn't help a lot. I didn't think.
No, I hear you. What are some other things? So
you got you a super chat there, Island Girl Ruby.
I missed that. Oh,
Talking
thank you.
Super chats to you. Yeah, I don't
Thank
think
you, Island Girl Ruby. I appreciate that. I missed that. I apologize. That was probably about the time I got that phone call. What about some non-trucking, like in your business in general? Okay, some non-trucking things. Because I don't know if everybody always counts some of the ancillary things in your business that really contribute to your cost per mile. So, what you give any thought to some of those things?
I don't really have a lot. I mean, I'm kind of a minimalist, honestly.
Okay.
I wish I could say more, but I mean, I'm using a Cobra 19 CB that was given to me in 2006. I mean, I'm cheap, dude. Like, you wouldn't believe how cheap I am. I mean, I pick up these underwear I find laying in the Flying J parking lot and rinse them off. Hell, put a little Tide on them, they're good to go. They're
What are
not
your
always
size?
my size, but well, not always, but.
What about the pair of pants that they were wrapped up in? Did you check the pockets for $20 bills?
Better believe I did. Found 3 nickels.
Nice. Pure
You
profit.
know how I roll. I'll poke them pants with a stick till the nickels fall out.
If they ain't your size, just put them on. Call them skinny jeans. Just saying. I mean, they were in a truck stop parking lot. Chances are they're probably your size or bigger.
That's what I'm saying. See, you got to play your demographics. Wait. It's like I left a pair of doctors laying on the side of New Jersey Turnpike one time, and I said, the guy that finds them, that'll probably be his size, and by then the rain would have probably rinsed them off.
Yeah. So a lot of people leased onto a carrier. Always have the desire or thought to get their own trailer. Have you ever considered getting your own trailer? What would that do to your costs relative to your income? What are the pros and cons, ups and downs of that being leased onto a carrier and having your own trailer?
Well, it depends on what the carrier wants to pay you for that. Like, is it worth it? For me, I don't know. It's kind of a break even. It's like it would pay me no more now, but 3 to 5 years down the road, I'd have a 10-year-old trailer I could sell or whatever. So I ain't saying there's no added value there, but risk reward for me, the way my situation is, really doesn't pan out to be too big. Not enough of a gain.
Well, that's something that maybe gets overlooked too, is people only look at the extra revenue they could earn with a trailer. Let's talk for a minute about the possible downsides that come with it. Like if you're hauling reefer, and you got a frozen load on, and that reefer goes down, you own that trailer. That's your baby now. Like that claim's going to fall on you. If you can't get that thing up and running quick enough, that expense is going to fall on you. That trailer repairs are real. I'm living that right now, man. I've been getting hit hard with trailer repairs. but hey, that's the way it is. It's part of owning equipment. But also too, you may miss some opportunities. Could you see yourself missing on some loads or missing some opportunity because you can't drop and hook? You lose that ability to drop and hook.
It would be very rare.
Yeah, you
I mean,
don't
this
where
trailer
you
I
work.
have
You don't really
now,
do that.
yeah, I mean, there's been a time or two here and there where I've done some drop and hook. Um, I'm gonna say the last time I dropped and hooked to get another load was probably like last summer.
Really?
For me, for me, it just comes down to the risk reward. And, like I said, I wouldn't really gain anything now because I'd have to be buying the trailer, working on the trailer, this, that, and the other. And then, so it'd be kind of a break even for a while, paying myself back
Right.
a down payment to put a down payment on a trailer or to go pay cash a trailer. It, it would be, like I say, 3 to 5 years before I really started seeing any profit for it.
Hmm.
And, I'm not going to go buy a brand new trailer. So I'm probably going to be getting like a, 5 to 7 year old trailer. We're talking probably a 10-year-old trailer by the time I get it paid off. And,
Okay.
and then again, you come into now you're working on stuff. It, to me,
Let me tell you what.
yeah,
Sometimes you're
just the
working on
risk reward's not there.
sometimes you're working on trailers till 2 o'clock in the morning just to get them ready to go back on the road the next day. I've had a fair bit of that lately. Like I'm out of trailers. All my trailers are full, so I can't. It's hard to put one down for a day. Like before, I had an extra one, I could rotate them out. Just have some grab that trailer. But now they're all full. I either need another trailer or just keep working at it uh, extra hard to keep them on the road. Eventually there's something that you can't get fixed right away. But Sterling Begtel with a $5 super chat. I appreciate that, Sterling. Thank you very much. Let's catch up on some comments here. Andrew
Yeah,
Ellis says,
I had to turn my hotspot off. I was having some trouble with some lag and some robot voice there. So I'll just have to go with you on the comments.
all right. Texas Trader says owner ops and garages are starting to hoard parts. Yeah, that's true, and I've thought about joining them. I may stock up on some tires here if I can get a hold of them before I'm left without them.
Right.
Sterling says he's pulling power only at 242 a mile and not complaining. Sterling, that's really good for power only. I'll be honest with you. Like when power, I've done a fair bit of power only in the past, and contract, not it wasn't spot. And historically, when the demand isn't there, power only doesn't pay that good. But power only is getting to be a much bigger thing now, so you're probably gonna do well with that. Marty wants to know who wants to hear something interesting. Go ahead, Marty, and drop that on us. I'd like to hear something interesting. Andrew says, my authority is going active next month. You think it's a decent time to pull spot market freight? Probably never been a better time. What say you, Cash?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too late to the game?
That. Yeah.
Too late to the game, or you got some time to run it yet?
Depends on depends on what he's got in it. Depends on what he's got in. If he's got a good business plan, it's always a good time. Like I was telling somebody the other day, they're trying to time the freight market's like trying to time the spot market or stock market. Excuse me, stock market, spot market, very similar. Trying to time them. Just get in and do your thing, and it'll go up and it'll go down and it'll go up and it'll go down. And as time goes, you'll be better at the ups and you'll be better at the downs. And that's if you're running a good business.
Mm-hmm.
With good cost of operation, as we were speaking about at the beginning of the video.
Yeah, I think if you're intending to, I've been having this thought in my head a lot lately of, obviously there's a ton of people flooding into this owner operator market. And, when a run is over, when a rush is over, there's always somebody left holding the bag. You know, it happens in the stock market, it happens in the housing market, and it happens in the trucking market. You know, when things turn, there will be people left with their pants down, can't afford their operation, can't afford their truck. Uh, and if just think to yourself, if that happened to me, what would I do? Or if you say things tank tomorrow and you're like, I'm just going to sell everything, and get out. Well, then you didn't want to be an owner operator. You wanted money,
Yeah.
right? If you want to be an owner operator, you're in it for the long term. Hey, then go ahead and do it. It's probably a really good time to get started. A better time would have been a year ago, but hey, you can't turn back the clock. But if you just say I want that money, maybe think about that some more. Maybe it isn't the best time because money doesn't last forever. You know, you make the most of it now because it doesn't last forever.
Right.
So, you know, you got to ask yourself, is it the money or do I really want to be an owner operator? It's the only advice I got. Marty says number 3 for fuel economy is weight and altitude. There you go. We could fix that. We'll run around with an empty trailer all the time.
Yeah. Only go
Okay.
downhill. I found that only going downhill is great for fuel economy.
Yep.
I put up a video where I had 9 miles per gallon, and the guy said, "Well, yeah, you was only running downhill. It was 9 miles a gallon for 900 miles." And
Where's that 900-mile hill?
yeah,
Find me that
somebody asked me if
900.
I took a load to, if I was taking a load to hell, because that's the only consistent down.
And I always only catch a tailwind. If the wind is the wrong direction, I just take the day off.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
Yep.
Only run with the wind downhill.
Yep. Running Aces says he just got here. What tires have they said has the best rolling resistance? I mean, technically, probably Michelin still has the best rolling resistance, unless there's a new one out there. But there's a lot of them that are really close there. I'm really liking.
I got a. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I got a Bridgestone. I can't remember what the number is on it. It's a super single. Pretty straight line tread. You know, it's got like a little wavy tread to it. That thing is a banger on rolling resistance. I mean,
yeah.
I matched it up to a Michelin, and it was 84% of the Michelin's rolling resistance. So,
wow, yeah. There's a lot of them that are right there.
Pretty good.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that are right there in the neighborhood. If you're talking like a difference between a 90 and a 92, but the Michelin's a 90, and you got a Yokohama coming in at a 92. A 2 points in rolling resistance isn't that big a deal, but that tire might be half as much. You know, if you're looking at a Michelin for $750 and I can get that Yokohama for $360, guess what I'm getting, and that's what I've been getting. I've been having really good luck with these Yokohamas. Price wise, and their rolling resistance is right there towards the top. They're doing really good by me. But tires are one of those things, man. It's like Ford, Chevy. It's like people like their brand of tire, and hey, that's all right if you got something that's working out for you. Definitely.
I like to run Firestone on the steers, and then I like to run Bridgestones on my front drive axle, and I like Yokohamas on the far back. Okay. That's how I run it. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. That is a proven strategy that it's working. Hell, I may put a Michelin on one side on the front and run a Firestone on the other. I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you want to have all the sponsors you can. I mean, really.
Right.
You know, that sponsor money.
How does mentioning company names in a YouTube video work, by the way?
I think if you're a big channel, it probably helps, but for the people like us, I don't think anybody cares. How many times have we said Freightliner? They ain't called yet.
Right.
By the way, Freightliner.
Yeah, that's true.
Give me a call.
Right. Yeah.
Sterling says he needs the beefier drives for as much as he runs the West Coast mountains and not chain up. Well, yeah, it becomes a safety issue too. I don't like to chain. It sucks. Screw that. Harvey Weinstein in the house. All right. Got a fuel money. Seems unusual. Says, how much money can you save on fuel by investing in a tank and buying bulk? Honestly, not a lot.
Nah.
No, because
it ain't there unless you got a fleet.
Yeah, unless you got a fleet. And you should have a fuel card or some kind of fuel program where you're getting substantial discounts. And usually any fuel you're going to get by buying a bulk tank is going to come from like a local co-op. They're not going to give you the discounts that are going to match what you should be getting with the fuel card or something like Mudflap.
Yeah.
Plus, honestly, this goes back to understanding IFTA. Like if you're living in Oklahoma and you're buying a ton of fuel in Oklahoma, you're probably not getting the cheapest fuel just because it's cheapest pump price. You got to figure IFTA into that. You might be in Missouri, any state with a low fuel tax. If you got to figure that in. You might not be getting the best deal anyway.
Yeah.
Where did I leave off? I lost my spot here. Oh, Alex Express is in the house. Bill Barnes, TJ Jones stopping in. Who else we got? Dominic Brady says this is his kind of live. Awesome. Thanks for coming on in. Marty says he hasn't turned on the air conditioner in a truck all year. Yeah, that'll save some fuel, but it'll make it smell real bad in your truck there, Marty.
Yeah. Got saving money on fuel, spending money on gold bond medicated powder. Come on.
There you go. You got to get that sweat off.
You don't want to get raw. You know what I mean? When you get raw down there, you ever have a 600-mile day ahead of you and you're just raw down there? Come on, everybody hit that like button if you've ever needed some gold bond before you start the day.
Everybody hit that like button if you've ever put that gold bonds on and it burns like a son of a gun because the day previous was a little rough too.
Ooh, there's that one time when it's like getting kissed by 1,000 tiny little angels, and then there's that other time where it feels like somebody's coming there with a butane torch on you.
It's like throwing razor blades at your crotch.
Exactly. Exactly. You're like, damn, is there asbestos in this?
Now there's asbestos in your bloodstream too.
Whew.
Alex Express Short says you got to have a contingency plan in any business. Absolutely right. Says the X Series Michelin is the best. Yep. Goodyear Assurance, nowhere near the Michelin. Doug Thompson wants to know, where is Tiger? I don't know. He's probably hanging out with Joe Exotic somewhere. I don't even know who Tiger is, but what else we know about running a cheap business?
It's hard to I don't know if you've had this, explaining to new owner operators about the past. I feel like it's gonna come down to that. It's like if they have to experience it, they have to experience it. I'm not wishing it on anybody. Hell, no. I wish we could pull $3 a mile out of Buffalo every day. Let's say a quick prayer on that real quick. If you let me pull $3 a mile out of Buffalo, I really appreciate it. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I looked at a few loads over the weekend coming out of this area, and there wasn't nothing really even there. And then I get up this morning, and there's $3 a mile all around me. And right. I'm like, well, my pick of $3 a mile freight, where I want to go. Out of Buffalo, mind you, back to Wisconsin, which is money. Like,
and inbound Wisconsin doesn't really usually matter where it's coming from. It's usually not good paying freight because there's so many mega carriers in Wisconsin. But going back to the outside of the truck thing for your cost per mile, something I get into here in some videos here shortly is factoring. Okay, number one, cutting your factoring costs, getting a better deal on factoring. But have you ever thought about this?
Yep.
Instead of factoring and paying 2.5%, what is that on every single load? What does that annualize out to? I mean, that's
a lot.
So $250,000 a year in freight bills times 2.5% is $6,250.
Whoa, wait. $250,000 in freight bills. What are we part time?
All right. So annualize that out. My math skills are a little weak. on
Right.
every freight bill. How about going to your credit union and opening up a line of credit, a home
Yeah.
equity line of credit, or just a line of credit for $25,000, and with the 3% annual interest rate instead of 2.5%
Right.
annual. My math sucks so bad. Somebody annualize that out for me. 2.5% on every load at $250,000. Um,
Well, I mean, if you're doing it on every dollar you're doing, I mean, it's just two what. We'll see. So if you're doing
well, you're paying 2.5% on every dollar you're doing, whereas if you take it and annualize it at
right,
3% interest, you're not carrying that whole $250,000 every day of the year. See what I'm
right.
saying?
So
You
it's $6,250 if you factor everything.
right, right.
Versus if you go to the credit union and borrow $25,000,
At say
uh,
3.5%, and
yeah,
that's
and
revolving.
right, that's $875.
There you
So
go.
you're
That's
saving you're saving $5 a
$5,500 a
week.
year.
You're funding a 401k. You're retiring on that money.
That's a fully funded IRA every year. I mean, and then you add interest on that over 20. There's people that never stop factoring, and I'm not mad at them for it. It's just the way it is. Cash flow management is a real thing when you start to deal with big numbers, but there's other ways to do it.
Right. Yeah, no, I see YouTubers, been in business for years and still factor, every load. It's costly. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, and I think there goes back to another one of those things of, right now freight's paying really good. Like that 2.5% on every load, maybe not as noticeable right now.
Well,
You know,
somebody in a
um,
comment of one of your videos said, "I add an additional 3% on every load to cover for factoring." Okay, so if you didn't
yeah, they
factor,
negotiate. Yeah, they
yeah.
negotiate.
So if you didn't factor, are you going to tell me you'd pull for 3% less? you know, it's not a matter of that.
That's a good point.
You get the amount of money you can get. Plus, the math doesn't work that way. If you have a $3,000 load, plus 3%, $92.
Right.
That's close enough. I guess it's close enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
it's the broker doesn't
ballpark.
care if you factor or if you don't. They'd like to sell you a quick
No.
pay, but they don't give a damn if you factor or not.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's when you're negotiating freight, if say they're at 1,500 and you go, well, I gotta have 16, or let's say round number 3,000, and you say, well, I gotta have 3,100 because I got a factor.
Hmm.
You think the broker gives two flips?
I actually
Like,
think that would work against you. I actually think that'll work against you. I think it'll tell the broker, eh, this guy. I mean, one, his negotiation skills are poor. Number two, if he thinks I care about his factoring, you know, uh, how about you need that extra $100
yeah.
because that's what the market is, for some other reason,
Right.
Um, it's I wouldn't use that tactic,
Yeah.
but that's just me. Um,
Right.
cattle
Yeah, and
hauling,
I don't know I don't know if that person goes and says, "Hey, I need it for factoring." I'm
yeah.
maybe they just,
Yeah. Lone Star says he needs $3 a mile out of New York to cover the tolls. That's
ow.
probably to clean up the cow crap behind you. That's why I got to pay all
Mm,
them tolls.
mm,
The cattle hauler.
yeah.
Clarence wants to know what company has the best lease purchase. You go ahead and tell him. You go ahead and tell him their Cash is King Trucking.
Ooh.
What company has the
Um,
best lease purchase?
Let me tell you a little story about. I don't think none of them. None of them. Zero, not nil, none. I mean, I don't know. If somebody's found a stellar one, that works for them, go for it. Do what you got to do. But I just don't think it's, buying the truck from the carrier is a risky proposition.
What do we always say?
Um,
Own your asset.
Own your asset. Control your asset. Like I just, like somebody brought it up in a comment earlier. I did a lease purchase back in the day off of Western Express. I regret every minute of that 3 weeks that went by. Um, I mean, I was out of there as quick as I could get out of there. As soon as I could get a route back to Nashville, I was like, I'm done. But I think about the poor people at Falcon. You remember Falcon?
Mm-hmm.
Just up and shut down over a weekend. Sent everybody a message at midnight on Saturday saying, "Hey, we're done. Good luck getting home. Good luck everything else. We're done."
Yeah.
And all the trucks go back to the finance company. If you're 5 years, on a 5-year lease purchase
Mm-hmm.
program, you're 4 years and 11 months in on that thing. The finance company don't care because it's worth more to them to auction that truck than it is to let you take it.
Well, and it doesn't.
So
They don't care if you have 1 month left on that payment. It requires an authority to operate under, an active authority.
yep.
And guess what? If Falcon
Uh-huh.
doesn't have theirs no more, you're contracted to them. You can't go anywhere without with
Yep.
that truck. Clarence,
Yep.
go back to the beginning when we were talking about total cost of ownership of the truck. And don't get me wrong, everybody's got to start somewhere. If you have to start with lease purchase, we're not bagging on you. But the question was asked, about it. So that's what we're doing. We're not knocking anybody. Total cost of ownership of the truck. You got to take the total cost of that lease from beginning to end.
Yep.
And figure out that total dollar amount, and then have something to compare it against. Can you take this for a second again, Cash? I got a call again.
Yeah.
Important.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, and it goes back to the like what he was saying. You got to look at the cost of ownership, and I'll put my lease purchase on me. Not do a good job with my lease purchase as far as doing the research. And that's the problem with most lease purchases is the research side of it. Like my lease purchase at Western Express, I was getting a 3-year-old Freightliner Cascadia, and I was going to pay $90,000. After I paid all the payments on it, it would have come out to $90,000 to buy that truck. And I mean, we're talking a truck with 400,000 miles on it at $90,000 by the time I pay it off. So, there's a little bit of that. But yeah, Clarence, I would prefer just, don't get involved with it. I feel like you have a different mindset when it's a walk away lease, like when you're trucking, you want to be like, you want that don't give up attitude. And if they got you in a walk away lease, there's probably a reason.
Ask Coyote, hey, could you just send me an email on something?
We hear you, DIY.
Okay. Thanks. Bye. All right, I'm back.
All right. Yeah,
sorry about that.
I was just saying we could hear you there.
Oh, sorry, I'm having a
Coyote. We heard that last part.
We're having a problem with a customer here, but did you talk about the part where some of these lease purchases you don't get to keep the truck? You pay pay for the whole truck and don't get to keep it.
Yeah, there's some of those. I was saying with Western Express, you're talking about cost of ownership. I got a 3-year-old Cascadia from them, bare bones as bare bones as a Cascadia can get. I was doing flatbed, so I had the flat top up, like little short roof. After all payments paid on that truck would have cost me $96,000 for a 3-year-old Cascadia with 400,000 miles on it. I was going to pay basically $100,000 for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So
goes back to total cost of ownership too. I understand
yeah,
that everybody has their way they have to start. I don't have any money down. I don't have
right.
whatever. Maybe
I say,
wait.
yeah, go to a good company. Go to a good company, be a company driver, take all the risk out of it. That way you can save money, because with that lease purchase, there's too much chance to not make money,
Yeah.
basically.
Trucking will
But
be here. I mean,
hey,
is trucking going to
yeah,
change? Yeah.
exactly.
Like, trucking will be here next week, next month, next year. Might be different. But hey, if it's that different, then thank God you didn't get into it in the first place, right?
Right. Hey, I'm gonna step out for a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Give me about 5 minutes. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Clarence says, I got money, but crappy credit. Okay. Well, it could still happen. One of the things, people say, well, what do I need to do to become an owner operator, lease a truck, buy a truck, whatever. One of the first things I say is get your personal life in order. It's not that easy. I'm not trying to say you can make it happen overnight, but you're going to be running a business. We're running a lot of money through it. Have your personal stuff in order first, because if with bad credit, you're going to overpay for things. Your payments are going to be higher. You're going to have to pay more for things. Get that taken care of. Get that under control. Hit the ground running the best you can. Give yourself the best chance for success as you can. And one of those is kind of getting your credit lined up. Now you can also pay cash for trucks. Saving up. It's hard. Not saying it's easy, but it can be done. I don't know how your savings habits are, or your earnings and all that. But that can be done too. People forget that's a possibility. And there's other places to finance a truck besides these, third-rate leasing companies and carriers. Build a good relationship with a bank. Say, hey, walk in and talk to them. Say, hey, or a credit union. Say, what do I need to do to put myself in the situation to buy a truck, have you finance it, and not get ripped off? And they'll tell you, and then get about doing that. But there is a lot of variables to it. And sadly, somebody with bad credit, they'll give them a truck loan before they give somebody a truck loan with no credit. Had a driver I was trying to help here, 750 credit score, blah blah blah. Just hardly had any credit because never really borrowed money. Whole life paid cash for things, blah blah blah. The responsible way to do things, and they would not give him a loan for a truck, no matter with like 50% down. Still would not give that guy a loan. But if he'd had a credit history, even if it was a little damaged, probably would have got that loan. Wouldn't have been as big an issue. Let's see. Cattle Hauling the Lone Star says, just my opinion, but if you can't afford to buy your own truck, you probably should stay away from leasing. I don't really disagree with that. Like I said, I don't hate on leasing because everybody's situation is different. There's just, like everything. You can do it this way. Maybe there's a little better way to do it, and then there's this other way to do it. Some ways are better than others. Some ways will make you more money. Some ways will give you a better chance of success. Leasing in general, that's including your personal vehicles, is the most expensive way to own a piece of equipment and operate it. If that upsets people, hey, it's just math. Is all it is. Don't get mad at math. What else we got here? Oh, just trucking in the house. He says, the background, my favorite. I appreciate it. Just hanging out here live from the outhouse. Don't want to be too far away. Maybe had a couple bean burritos today, so I want to stay local. The background, the restroom in India. This is my outhouse right here in my backyard. We're high tech around here. This is how we roll. You want to make sure you spend time with your family. Bring them all in. I get the captain's chair right there behind me. Texas Trader says, look at the cost of buying your own health insurance too. I had a quote from United Healthcare for $1,400 a month for 2 people. Yes, I think in my video about getting your own authority, that's the first thing I mention is figure out what you're going to do for health insurance, because that can break you faster than anything else. And it's not as unattainable as people think. You can get that. I know somebody that basically replaced the same policy he had at the employer that he left for himself and two children for like $600 a month. So you just shop. Just because one person tells you it's going to be $1,800 a month doesn't mean that's what everybody's going to tell you. And that was not on the healthcare exchange, by the way. It was not. Oh, looks like our guest
We
is back
back.
here. We back? We
We
back?
back. Yeah.
You leave a pair of
Yeah.
pants on the ground in the truck stop?
No, not quite. Not quite. Was out there scouting a pair. Had to jump out and scout a pair.
Yep.
Thought
Yep.
I seen somebody leaving a bag out there. I wanted to see what was in it.
All right. Bill Barnes says fix your credit makes a big difference on your insurance. Yes, we're talking Clarence here. He says crappy credit, and we're just talking about, hey, different ways to do it. Paying cash is also an option.
Yep.
Not everybody's going to do that, but hey, there's hundreds of ways to finance. We can get her done, but we're talking about fix your credit first, fix your personal life before you start to run a business. What do you think about that?
Yep. It's good advice.
Yeah.
It's damn good advice. Let me tell you, being able to have some options on things, and like you were talking about, go instead of factor, go in and borrow the money from your credit union, like you were talking about, like we just did an example that saves you like $5,000 a year doing that. Good credit. Got to have the good credit to do stuff like that.
Yeah, and here's the thing, talking about lease purchase, and you're saying who's the best to lease purchase from and lease onto. Well, let's present the third option here of, hey, if you're going to go do a lease purchase, say with Prime or whatever, okay, well, maybe not do that. What if you went and got your own truck, financed it through your bank, and then leased onto them? How much, are you better off? Controlling your own asset is a big thing. It changes, and if they won't let you do that, that should kind of tell you some big things about their program there and their plan. Like, they only want that because that's how they make the most money off of you.
Exactly.
So
exactly. Yeah.
If I was going to lease onto somebody, that might be the first question I ask them: am I allowed to bring my own truck? And if they say no, well, red flag.
Yep. It's yeah, and also think of it like this. If you had a truck, let's say someone gave you a brand new truck. Now I don't know who, I don't know how that would ever happen, but let's snowball some ideas here. Let's say you ended up with a brand new truck. Would you lease it on to that carrier that you're thinking about lease purchasing from? Like, if you had a brand new truck, would you go do $1 a mile lease? Would you lease it on at a place that paid $1 a mile? Don't let your need for a truck, bring down your wages. Basically.
With most lease purchases, you can't leave with that truck. Some will let you buy it out, not all of them. So say you lease onto a company and you're paying $1,400 a week, and you're 2.5 years into that 3 or 4 year lease, and you just need to go. Like, or something happens in your life, you can't drive over the road anymore, you gotta be home. You're out that money. All that equity you have into that truck, you might have even at that point paid that truck off. You're gonna leave without it. And if you're gonna go do another lease purchase somewhere else, you're gonna start out and do the same thing there. Remember that you're buying somebody else a truck that you may or may not ever own. You may pay for the whole thing and have to leave without it. It's a lot of money to walk away from.
Yeah.
And to do that, repeat that. Let's face it, drivers don't tend to stay at companies for very long anymore. The turnover, every 3, 4, 5 years, most of them are changing jobs. So to do that over and over and over again, you may be walking away from $10,000-$20,000 a year that you're paying in payments and not getting anything back for it. because they made you mad one day and you got huffy and left, or you hit a tree branch and they fired you, took away your safety bonus or something. All things happen.
Right.
Things happen.
Well, and most companies that, well, I don't know about most, a lot of lease purchase companies, when you get toward the end of that lease, there's nothing in it for them when you pay off that lease.
No.
So why would they want to help you get that paid off? Because they honestly don't care if you stay or not, because they'll sell that truck to someone else. They got a line waiting out the door to come fill that truck. So there's no benefit for having you pay it off, because then, they have to honor what they say and do, like, because you could take that truck and leave, so there's no incentive for most of these big lease purchase programs to let you have the title to a truck.
Yeah. Clarence says, okay, back to the oil field. That's not what we're trying to tell you, Clarence. We're just trying to help you make a good decision here. Don't feel dejected and beat up. Like you don't.
Yeah.
That's not the intention. Maybe we go a
There
little too deep
are,
into it.
yeah. I mean, I think, if you can make a lot of money in the oil field, as a company driver right now, then hey, and you like it, hey, more power to you. But there's a lot of good companies out here right now that are paying like, 60 cents a mile as W-2 employee. Let me tell you, if you don't have a lot of expenses at the house, and you can make 60 cents a mile and stay out for a while, yeah, you could stack some real money. You could stack some real money.
Yeah, the opportunity is everywhere right now. Like if you ain't taking advantage of it, like if you're taking this time and so I'm gonna take 2 months off, maybe just wait a little bit. Give it a
Yeah.
little bit of time. Like now's the time you change the rest of your damn life. Like literally, I know I can say that a lot, but man, it's I've done some crappy jobs. I know you've done some crappy jobs. I've worked way harder than this for way less money.
Yeah.
And I
Oh
know
yeah.
you have too.
This is ridiculous money right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're making more money than most doctors probably right now, most of us. Just trucking sending some Uber Eats Taco Bell out to the outhouse here. Get some good use out of it. Here we go. Jackknife TV 83 says, go to the public marketplace for your health insurance. The new enrollment is in November. It costs him $460, him or her, $460 a month for Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO plan with a Delta dental insurance. That is a great price. That's a great price.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to confess, I don't know much about that marketplace. I don't really know how it works. But I do know that is a great price for health insurance.
Yeah.
Now I lost my spot here. Oh. Kevin says, if you have 800 plus credit score, 50K, and owner op friends doing dry van flatbed, would it be stupid to go from CDL school to new authority without experience at a mega carrier first, no lease ever? Still have to say it depends. First, number one, just forget about what other people are doing. Does not matter, because number one, not everybody tells the truth. And number two, they might think they're killing it and not be, because they don't know their numbers. Just because you have $30,000-$40,000 in the bank might not necessarily mean you're killing it. Is it good to get your own authority? Go from CDL school to new authority without experience? It's going to be expensive. Whether or not it's a good idea, it is going to be damn expensive. I'll tell you what, that insurance, even if you can get 6 months experience driving for somebody before you get your own authority, you're going to make a big difference in your insurance. I mean, it is going to be, it's going to be steep.
I mean, if you can go to work for a mega carrier, or not even a mega carrier,
small carrier, anywhere.
Small to mid-sized carrier for 3 months. See if you like it. I say before you invest money in it, see if you like it.
You might
know
hate
what I mean?
it.
Like there's, what is it? 1 in 9 people that go to truck driving school are driving truck within 1 year.
Yep.
So that's like when you go to truck driving school, You can look down the row of people and you count 8 of them, and
Mhm.
only one of you will be a truck driver in 1 year.
Yeah, and you might
Like,
like it. You might like it, but your wife might hate it. Your kids might hate it.
yeah, that's true too.
There's
And
all
when
all
Mama
kinds of
says
reasons.
it's over, it's over. Like,
Yeah,
like when
yeah,
she tells you to sell that truck at a loss, you sell that truck at a loss.
yeah.
Like,
It's not worth losing your family over, your kids, and
right,
you better make good
right.
money because let me tell you, child support is expensive. I'm sure,
Yeah,
but
and you got to have everybody on board when you go OTR, because
yeah,
it ain't just you that's going OTR. The family's going OTR.
yeah,
Like, like when
and
you're gone, a few nights a week or weeks at a time, everybody's got to adjust and be ready for that.
yeah. But congratulations on the 800 credit score and saving up $50,000. Big, big
Yeah, yeah,
congratulations on that. Well done. That shows your
no
discipline
doubt.
for one. I would say that's
Yep,
a great thing. You can manage money. Number two, that's
yep,
that's going to put you far ahead. Uh, but the other thing I would say is I don't care who you are. As a brand new driver out of CDL school, you're gonna make some mistakes. Like you're gonna
yeah,
get lost. You might ding
yep,
something. Why do it under your authority where you're responsible and you got to pay for it? Do your screwing up
yep,
on somebody else's dime. Uh,
yep.
I've always been because
Seen,
to be so arrogant as to say nothing's ever going to happen, or bull, bull.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I seen a guy the other day at a shipper in a tight spot. He dipped the front tire off the corner of the concrete,
Hmm.
and it sunk it plumb down to the bumper. And he pulled it up out of there, but he was gliding on that plastic bumper, and
I bet he probably
it
needed
didn't.
an alignment when he was done.
Yeah, nothing looked good of it, and I'm like, hey, if he's a company driver, hey, if they don't fire him for it, which this day and age, like, you probably make a few mistakes before they fire you. Honest mistake, tight spot backing in, was more focused on what was going on behind him than in front of him, and hey, you know, I've
Hmm.
made mistakes. I've made mistakes. I can't say
I
I
have
haven't.
too. That's why I say that. Like, I grew up on a farm running heavy equipment all the time and backing up tractors and wagons, and hey, still made a mistake.
Yep.
Uh, Corn Metal X says, looking to finance a truck and trailer. Should I do both under the same company or do them? I'm assuming he means finance company or like his company. Have 20,000 to put down, but don't want to use it all if possible. No harm in not using it all. It's always good to have cash put back for various things. I mean, financing under the same company, is that what you mean from like the same bank? I'd say just get the best deal you can. Or do you mean like, should you buy one in your business name and then make another business name for another one? Uh,
And,
Not
and
exactly
20,
sure.
20K down is that's going to be rough financing these days, man. Let me tell you,
Hmm.
eh, why is everything so hard to finance right now when
Oh, let me tell you
interest
why.
rates are real cheap?
Yeah, let me tell you why they're so hard to finance. Because they are
Go for it.
because banks are not stupid. Banks are very
Mhm.
smart. They don't build them skyscrapers because they're so stupid and they lose money. They know equipment is severely overpriced right now. They know the freight market is severely inflated. They know what a bubble is, and they know that bubbles burst. And to finance all this
Right.
overvalued equipment, they want that equity to be equalized at purchase. So if it's a $50,000 truck and you're paying $80,000 for it, they want at least that $30,000 down payment to equalize the equity, because they know in a year and a half they're going to be taking that truck back because the repossession rate on trucks is sky high. I don't care what
Yeah.
anybody says. It's sky high. It's one of the riskiest loans. Banks don't even like to do truck loans. So they're probably going to want that 30 down and then your normal 20% down payment on top of that. So you're probably looking at
Yep.
$40,000 down, which is 50% down, which is about right for what I've been running into trying to finance people to get trucks. They're wanting 50% down, some cases 60% down. And then on top of that, they still want 28% interest for somebody that still has a 760 credit score.
Right.
That's why they're doing it,
Let
because
me
banks are not
let,
stupid.
let me go. Let me go one step farther. Uh, they don't recognize the bubbles. They create the bubbles.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. You're not
I mean,
wrong.
it's cyclical for them. boom bust, boom bust, boom bust. We make money going up. We make money
Uh-huh.
going down. We make money
Mhm.
every which way you can. Yeah, no.
So what do we
Um,
do? Let's start a bank. I think is what we need to do.
hmm Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It doesn't seem like they, hey, that's how they do it. I mean, hey, I was in the foreclosed home business for years, and let
Mhm.
me tell you, uh, I've seen the bank cycle one property 4 or 5 times. Like they know what they're doing. They take the
Wow.
down payment. They know you ain't gonna be able to pay it. They foreclose on it 6 months, 8 months later. We go in, refurbish, put it back on the market. Bam. Here we
Yeah.
go again. Put somebody else in it. They take their down payment, and then they don't care if you make a payment or not because they done got their money. And
Yeah.
yeah,
No, they're
they
just
they
making
collect
sure they get their money.
yeah
And
they
they
collect the
statistically
mortgage
know,
insurance and
yeah, they know how many payments you can make before they have to take it back. They got all
yeah,
the numbers and algorithms. I mean, it's
yeah.
it's amazing. Clarence says it would take 60% of what I got to buy a newer truck. Well, maybe pare it back and buy a truck that ain't so new. Or I'm a big fan of preserving capital. Like I used to be really hard on like not borrowing money, doing everything with cash. But also, as I get older, I realize that like this is what you have to do to run a business. This is how the world works. Like preserve capital. The number my accountant told me one time years ago, and it never really sunk in until later in life, that the number one thing that will kill a business is lack of capital or the lack of ability to raise capital. So don't put any. If you are looking at a $50,000 truck and you have $50,000 in cash, that's all you got. I'm a fan now of maybe not putting the whole 50 on that truck. Like you need to hold some back because you've put it all 50 out, and next week you have a transmission go. You don't have any capital. You can't raise any capital. You're done right there.
Yeah.
You know, I understand that is not always the ideal way to do things, but I also understand reality. And lack of capital will kill you. Doesn't
And debt
matter.
has to
Freight rates are
be
$5 a mile.
right. And debt has to be risk rewarded. Right now it's cheap. If you can get it, it's cheap. Um, you know, might be better off holding a little capital for when it ain't as easy. I mean, look at how the big corporations do it. I mean, they'll put out $1 billion worth of bonds, even though they got a $2 billion sitting on a balance sheet. If
Hmm.
they can get it cheap enough, they're gonna take it.
Yeah,
It's like
cheap
because
money.
there's gonna come a time when it ain't gonna be cheap.
And money is cheap right now, with the exception of trucking. Interest rates for equipment are high. Even though the prime rate is historically low. And uh, actually, I was listening to I listened to some weird stuff, and I was listening to a financial show today where they were talking about interest rates. Uh, uh, we're stuck in a trap where if we keep interest rates low, we're can continue with this inflationary economy, which is right. The way you stop inflation is to raise interest rates. But it's such a bad deal with the global economy right now. If we raise interest rates, we're in a no-win situation. Either way they go, we're screwed. So it'd be interesting to
Yeah,
see what's going to happen.
for sure.
Uh, just trucking, stopping in there to say hi. Nevada Trucking and Trails. Thanks for coming in. Oh, there's a picture of that. Look at that thumbnail, though. Picture of that brand new front end of
Mm.
that Pete. Damn, that's a.
Yeah, I told
That's
him he's got to put a deer guard on there, but he said he don't like a deer guard on there.
mm-hmm.
I guess if you got a truck with that much chrome on it, you don't want to put a
You don't
some
hide
sort
it.
of yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Jackknife TV says, "Hey, there's plenty of $10,000 to $15,000 gamble trucks out there that could easily pay themselves off in a month." You're right. You're right. What do they? What do some of the communities call them? A raggedy ass cash truck, raggedy
Ow,
old cash truck. Hey, uh,
ow.
big fan. Big fan. As long as it's safe,
Right.
don't get something that's not safe.
Yeah, and when those gamble trucks, just
It's a gamble.
get get them right before you plan on putting them on the road. Um,
Yeah.
if you're gonna do something, if you're gonna go that route, hey, and I am not knocking it. You can, you can buy a truck for say 20,000. you could put 10 more in it and just have yourself a ride of a lifetime.
Yeah,
But
make it yours.
be ready to, when you buy it not going on the road like the first day.
Yeah.
It may need some work. It may
Yeah,
need
it's
some
gonna.
work.
Yeah. Alex Express says, Jackknife, that's a good point you're bringing up. Yes, it is. Big Dog says, with lease purchase, you are just a payment maker. At some
Yeah.
places, you probably are nothing more than that. I'm sure there's some places out there that, well, have better than others. I don't know the details on a lot of them, to be honest with you. It's just not my world.
Yeah.
Texas Trader says, Prime, SFI, etc., could easily starve you out of a lease in year 3. A couple of months of
Yep.
$1.50 a mile freight will bury you on a $1,500 a week lease. Well, yeah, and guess what? There ain't nothing you can do about it. The power is all on. It's in their court.
And I thought $1.50 was good over there.
It might be. I couldn't.
I don't know. I'm just talking, but yeah.
Jackknife TV says, number one question with a lease purchase: can I dispatch myself? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it.
Nah, they're not gonna do that.
No. Paul Harris says, I had a lawyer give me great advice. This is regarding covenants on land purchase. He said, read them, reread them, and read them again, and read them until you understand them. Do the same with a lease. You're absolutely right. How many people can say they've sat down and read their lease? Absolutely should. 100%. Nevada Trucking and Trails is getting good insurance. He's got a family plan, health insurance for $775 for him and his wife, including dental. That's really good. Congratulations.
Yep.
That's something the guy needs to know before jumping into being an owner operator, right?
Yep.
Alex says he knows apparently some companies that'll let you pick your own freight. So, Jackknife, go ahead and get in touch with Alex. Maybe he can help you out.
And that's lease purchase. That's a lease purchase company that lets you pick your own freight.
I think so. So.
We're not talking about leasing onto a company. We're talking about lease purchasing.
I think Alex is doing that. I think he's lease purchasing from the company and he's picking his own freight.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, a text message. I got a load that's going sideways, but I think we got it all figured out right now.
Yeah, you're good. I'm finna have to hop off anyway. I gotta be up here about, I don't know, a couple hours, 3, 4, 7 hours.
All right.
I gotta be about 3 in the morning.
I'm gonna keep going here and finish some comments up and see if we can't keep going a little bit here. But thanks for coming in. Everybody, check out. You want to drop your link on? I never did put your doggone link up.
Yeah, that other phone wasn't connecting, so it's all right. Everybody check out Cash is King Trucking. Just search it; it'll pop up.
Yeah, it's if you watch my videos, I guarantee you're getting suggested his videos too. So definitely click on them. Thanks, brother.
Thanks, DIY. I appreciate you letting me stop in and hang out for a little while.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Yeah, later.
Bye. Paul Harris says in Massachusetts they have Romney Care. Last year during COVID, he went on mass healthcare system. Got a letter saying that they're going to attach his estate when I pass. Nothing's for free. I've heard about that. That is a dirty, rotten deal. That if you go on some of these health programs, when you die, they take your estate. Yeah, I've heard about that. That is rotten that they don't make that more clear up front. And I don't know that even now if you quit Romney Care, if there's any way out of that for you. I wonder, do you know about that, Paul Harris? Kevin Potts says being in Florida makes insurance worse. No wife and kids. Is insurance more in Florida? I don't even know. Paul says his graduating class was 12 within the year. There was just 2, and now he's the only one. Yeah. Trucking school dropouts. Yeah, I think when I went to my first trucking company, the recruiting class that came in was, I don't know, 10. And I think after 6 months, I think I was the only one there. Heck, at the end of orientation, by the end of orientation, we lost half of them. Bernie Sands in the house. Thanks for coming in, Bernie. He says, "What's up, fellas? I'm the happiest and making the most money that I ever have in my life right now as an owner operator. Great company that I'm leased to. Good people. I'm really grateful." Well, there you go, everybody. Right there, there is good places to work out there. There is good places. You just got to go find them. You know, happiness is probably not in the mega carriers. Happiness is to your small and medium size uh, places that they're gonna know you, you know them. And honestly, I know a lot of small reefer companies that their guys kill it. I mean, absolutely murder it. You'll never see that kind of money, and it's contract. It's not spot market. It's contract freight. Uh, their guys kill it, and you're never going to get that at a CR England or whatever. So find your small to medium sized company to lease onto. They're going to work with you instead of just dictating to you. Corn Metal X says yes, under the same bank. Yeah, there's no problem financing both pieces of equipment at the same bank. None at all. In fact, if they're giving you a good deal, I would do that all day long, and that's exactly what I have done when I have needed to do that. Jackknife TV says most local trucking jobs that pay well, you're usually stuck working 14-hour long days unless you're hauling fuel with hazmat, and half the time you're fighting 30 other applicants to get in. Quite possibly. I tell you what, if you're looking for a local fuel hauling job, hit up Dirty Broke 215's channel. He knows all about that. Might even be able to set you up. Cattle hauling with Lone Star says it's not exactly health insurance, but wife and I use MetaShare, $230 a month for both of us. Just another option. Yeah, I don't think that gets talked about enough. So a MetaShare plan, if you belong to a religious organization, if you're a member of a church, whatever, there is these things. I think there's only 6 of them maybe in the country. I forgot what one of them might actually be called MetaShare. It's a religious faith-based program. It's really cheap. It is not true insurance, but it's a cost sharing program where it kind of works like health insurance, but you share each other's bills. But you have to like prove some certain standards that you like belong to a church, some different things like that. But I've thought about looking into that, but I haven't had the need because my spouse carries health insurance. Ali says DIY. Are those India toilets on the background? These are in my backyard. I don't know what all y'all are talking about. This is behind my house, and I spend a lot of time in here. Reading and so forth. Get some quiet time. Jackknife TV says he was looking at financing a truck, and a lot of banks right now want more than 20% down. I was told 50%, and that was with a 675 credit score, or they want some kind of collateral. Don't feel bad and don't feel like you're getting picked on. I'm running into this all the time because I was trying to help some guys get financed for trucks. And in most cases, some cases it was worse. One of them was 60% down and they still wanted 28% interest. Oops, stop my camera there for a second. It is ridiculous, but like I said, they're trying to equalize that payment before they even give you the loan because they know they're going to be taking a certain amount of these trucks back, and they're all going to be upside down equity. Lost my spot here. Let's go back a second. Oh, okay. Alex Express Short says, I thought I had $20,000 transmission replacement, but after having it checked, I did not have to replace it. That was heart stopping. Well, that's good news. What did it turn out to be there, Alex? I know you were hearing some noises. Nevada Trucking Trail says, what do you think of the Nastic fuel card? I recently quit them. I should do a video about that. I'm quitting Nastic altogether. I'm tired of them. The discounts used to be way better, but they're turning into, in my opinion, this is merely my opinion, they're turning into another OOIDA where all they care about is getting your money and not helping you. They make their money off of holding back some of the discounts on the fuel card. And it appears to me that they're holding back more of the discounts lately. And I have been able to beat those discounts in other places. And I'm tired of their annual fee, the ever increasing annual fee. I'm tired of the $35 a month they want to charge me for being on that fuel program. It all adds up. So I quit it and I switched my EFS card over to another program, and It's not as good a discounts, but it's a temporary home for my EFS account while I go find another home for it. And when I get it all hammered out, I'll do a video on it and let you know. Uh, Jackknife says $20,000 transmission replacement. LOL. I can have a Reman 13 speed put in for about $5,000. Yeah, Jackknife. Alex has a I-shift Volvo, and they are not cheap. They are not cheap transmissions. Bill Barnes says my bank only wanted 20%, but their appraisal was only 80% of the sale price, so I ended up having to put 50% down. Yeah. This goes back to that overpriced equipment thing right now. If you can get it. Cattle Hauling Lone Star says, Alex, I'd have to get with the wife on specifics. That's her department. I know we had a few claims that they paid no problem. Yeah, the health share plans are not a scam. They're legit. It takes a little bit more participation to keep up with it. Jackknife says save up $20,000 to put $8,000 down on a $20,000 truck. That leaves you $12,000 for the oh crap moments. It's not a bad plan. I like that plan. Or a $30,000 truck, he says. Alex Express says he does do a lease purchase and he does pick his own freight, or they can dispatch you if you want. Alex, if you want, you can go ahead and tell people where that is. You don't have to. The self dispatch thing. I don't mind it. I tried it for a while with somebody that was leased onto me. It ended up being a real problem. If somebody came to me and said, I have 25 years of experience, 20 years of experience, I know the markets, I know the lanes, I've proven I can be responsible, I've not had any claims, I might let them self-dispatch. The problem comes when somebody wants to self-dispatch and they book a load and they have a problem, and then that problem gets dumped on me. Well, that's your baby. You picked that load. You maybe didn't find out all the details like you were supposed to, and now you want to make it my problem. Or come to find out somebody was mistreating people, not operating in the manner that I want to be representative. Like, it's my company, my numbers, my insurance, my relationships with brokers or customers. And if you're going to talk some crap to them or swear at them or act like that, I can't have that either. And it might take a while to find that out, and the damage might already be done. Like, I get some things done, and if you're in it for a while, you'll know you can get some things done based on reputation, on-time service, communication. Communication is getting to be a big thing. Okay, and if you get somebody that's not doing either one of those things and they're dispatching themselves, you might not know about it. So, and plus, when rates are good like they are now, you don't have to have a lot of experience to hit it big self-dispatching, money-wise. When things get tight, I think a lot of people are going to say, help me, I can't find loads. You want somebody with experience doing that for you. You want somebody that's been doing it for 25 years, knows the freight lanes, knows the rates, has established relationships. You want that person finding loads for you, or I would think at least you should. But I can see it both ways. It's fun to self-dispatch when things are good. When things turn, I don't think a lot of people are going to find it so fun. And just in all honesty. Dan's Outdoor Adventure says factoring. How much risk is there in holding these receivables for 30 to 90 days instead of factoring? I'm glad you asked that. A lot of people think or assume that factoring takes away risk, and it does not. Okay. There's recourse factoring and no recourse factoring. Recourse factoring, if the customer does not pay, you owe that money back to the factoring company. Okay. Even with a non-recourse factoring, they take a bigger percentage, typically like 4% or something, and they will say, okay, if the customer doesn't pay, you don't owe us back the money. But there are still plenty of instances with non-recourse factoring that you can owe the money back to the factoring company. But factoring does not take away risk, generally. Okay, there's some exceptions maybe, like they might be They might be more aggressive in collecting the freight bill. They might have some techniques that you don't know about, some resources that you don't know about. But just to say that factoring takes away the risk is not really an accurate statement. Okay, waiting 30 to 90 days. Uh, you know, I'm running well over $100,000 a month in receivables, and if you took and take 2% of that, what is that? $2,000. That's that's my wages. There's not a lot left, and if I start giving away that $2,000 a month, what am I working for? You can be giving up some serious. You can give up your whole paycheck. So a guy's got to watch for that. And I haven't really like I credit check. I credit check people. I've only ever gotten burned on one invoice in over 20 years, and there's only a few where I've gone past like 45 days. I could probably in that amount of time, probably a couple dozen, and always manage to collect on them. You just got to be persistent and aggressive about it, and know your rights. Know how to talk to them, and hound them. Man, keep on them. So if you have to factor, you have to factor, but don't assume it takes away a risk, because it doesn't. Nevada Trucking and Trails says, in my situation, I'm able to self-dispatch. My thinking behind not doing so is they run me efficiently. Also trying to learn all that without having a baseline of earning potential or lane standards. Yes, and if you're driving, can you sit there and refresh a load board all day? You're gonna miss on some things, and there's somebody sitting there at a computer, um, watching that computer all day, waiting, looking for the perfect load for you. And if you're behind the wheel, some people do it behind the wheel, but you're gonna miss on some things. So that comes with a cost too. Um, Jackknife TV says it's not so much the risk of holding and waiting out to be paid; it's the risk of running out of cash flow for your business. Okay, now, yes, and that's something you work up to over time. Okay, if you're starting with $100,000 pile of cash, okay, then that wipes that out. If you're starting and you have to factor because you don't have that capital, over time you will build that capital. Maybe it takes 6 months, maybe it takes a year for you to build a $50,000 fund to where you can get off of factoring. It's going to be different for everybody. Yes, there is. I understand your question now. So, yes. Here you go. Alex Express says Travel Loco lets you pick your own freight, or they can dispatch you, and it's a lease purchase program. There you go. So anybody looking for that, look into Travel Loco. I do not endorse them. I don't know anything about them, but I guess Alex does. My question to you is, do you agree with my thinking, or would you suggest a different approach? For the self-dispatch, I would, if you're working for somebody with experience and a history of doing it, let them do it. That's what they do, man. That's like asking them to drive your truck. A dispatcher, would you want a dispatcher to go out and drive your truck? No, that's not what they do. And you don't do that. If you want to learn it over time, it's a good thing to learn. I suggest you learn it and maybe dabble a little bit here and there. But let the artists do what they do. If they're screwing it up, on the other hand, maybe you got to step in and say, hey, listen, we work together on this, or I take over this aspect of it and you do that. Whatever. Alex Express, thanks for a super chat, $2. Appreciate it, buddy. Where did we go here? Alex says he grossed $247,000 gross dispatching himself. That's not a bad chunk of change. Bad Truck and Trail says, yes, I'm looking at them, but the constant switching of fuel locations and dollar swipe charges makes me want to keep looking. Oh, he's talking about the Nastic fuel card. Yeah, always be looking. Fuel changes every day. Margins change, wholesale cost changes, programs change, fees change. I'm always looking for something better. Just because something was the best last year doesn't mean it's the best now. Okay, so always be on the lookout. Alex with another super chat. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you so much. Running Aces says, in my year or so experience, NV Trucking, okay, must be where he's at. In his year or so experience with them, he found that all TA petrol locations have been covered with a variable substantial discount. Love's is also covered, but with a flat 15-cent discount. Yes, I have something similar set up for myself. It says they also cover Sat Brothers. Just Trucking says this industry has so many people with their hands in the pockets of owners, and they all sit at desks. Yes, they do. They do. They do. But I hate to there is some good people out there in good places, and I have encountered some of them over my time. And if you keep an open mind and talk to people well, they talk to you well, respectfully, and such. You'll find some good people out here in the industry. Um, there's also some people sitting at the desks that just are there because they can't physically do this anymore. Maybe they can't pass a physical. Maybe they got diabetes. Maybe they had a heart attack. Maybe it was come off the road or my wife's leaving. Uh, there's different strokes for different folks. Alex Express says, just trucking, you're right. We all assume responsibility financially and physically. They do nothing but sit on their butts. Doesn't that what we do as truck drivers, Alex? Sit on our butts. I know you're trying to get me to sit on a bicycle, and I don't know about that. GI Man says, who runs the dispatch comes? Not sure exactly what you mean. Alex says, you should not be doing any type of business, including trucking, if you don't have working capital to cover unexpected expenses. Yes, capital is a big deal. You could be the best truck driver in the world and still fail because, hey, capital is capital, money is money, math is math, finance is finance. If you don't have the capital, at least have access to it. Access to a lot of things. You don't have to have your own shop. You need access to a shop. You don't have to have, your own oil refinery. You have to have access to buying fuel. Access is key to a lot of things. Access to information might be the biggest. Information is powerful, man. GI Man Transport says, down to who is in the seat, I allow my company driver to dispatch himself. Yes, that's kind of what I was saying. If somebody comes to me and they have the experience, say I've been doing this a long time, and I maybe don't let them at first. They got to prove to me that they're responsible, can talk to people properly, cannot MF everybody that they encounter, or they need to show they pick up on time, deliver on time, no damage, not be doing dumb things. Then we can build up to it and talk about it. Skinny Peters says, DIY, can you file my Kentucky mileage weight distance for me? File it your doggone self there, Mr. Peters. It's not that hard. After some of the mean comments you leave me, I'm not willing to do that for you. Nevada Trucking and Trails, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Yeah, the chat jumped on me. Yeah, it does that. I live in the woods and the internet's a little buggy out here. Skinny Peter says, yeah, everyone sitting at the desk is evil, is the devil. Geez, come on, drivers. I don't know about that, Mr. Peters. I suspect you're going to be sitting at a desk someday with all the risky behaviors you engage in. You might lose that CDL. But what time we got here? 9 o'clock. I think I'm going to wrap this up, folks. I want to thank everybody for coming in. Thanks, Cash is King Trucking, for coming in with us here. And everybody check out that channel. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. And we'll do this again. We got a good question here. Any way to tell if a carrier you're leased onto is skimming the rate, sending you doctored rate cons? Yeah, ask to see their invoicing. Ask to see the invoice that they are billing the load out to. I guess they could probably doctor that too. Go to their office. You have the right, if you're on a percentage, not if you're per mile, but if you're on a percentage, you have the legal right to see those documents. And go to their office. Don't email or fax them to you. Go there and say, I'd like to look at these and I'd like to look at them be respectful, be nice. Say, I'd really like to look at these right now, and see if they show you. I'm sure if everything's up on the up and up, I don't know why they wouldn't. Like when I book loads, I just send straight from the the email I got from the customer or from the broker. I just forward it right to the driver. They can see where it came from. Um, it couldn't be any more transparent. But if they ever wanted to come in and see the invoices or whatever, I don't have a problem with it. I give them everything anyway. But all right, we're out of here. Everybody, thanks for joining me tonight. Appreciate you. Y'all just hit 14,000 subscribers. I appreciate every one of them. And everybody, take it easy, and we will see you next time.